All right. This will probably be a shorter video. I didn't quite know where I wanted to take a video today or what, so I figured I was looking at my jacket because I was just about to wash it. So I'm like, well, I guess I could make a video on these heated jackets because we've been wearing them for a little bit at work now for a few years. I got my dad the thinner one, the cloth material, and he really liked it. The heating coils get really hot. I mean, you feel it within a minute, about a minute, 2 minutes, you start feeling it on your back. I decided to get the thicker one because I like being warm, definitely on the job. Especially some of the jobs we're on, there's no heat, no power, and we're in the mountains. So this comes in handy. Oh, just turned off. Comes in handy. I've had a lot of people already ask me about this jacket, and I tell them, if you got the money, it's a great investment. I mean, I got my buddy, he fly fishes in Montana. I got him one, and he loves it. It's super practical for that purpose too. Camping, fishing, just any sort of cold weather jobs. I would give this a shot. Check it out. They're super durable, pretty easy to clean, washable. They're stylish. They look pretty good on the job site. They are a little bit heavy. That's the only thing I would say. Once you're loaded down with the battery, it's gonna take a while to get used to it, but I hardly notice it anymore. So back to what the video was about. The contractors board recently raised the unlicensed limit from $500 to $1,000. So it's the same as it was before. Before, it was unlicensed contractors could only perform jobs $500 in labor and material. Ran out of storage, but we fixed that. Back to what I was saying. Before, it was only $500 in labor and material. So if customer wanted you to do a paint repair on, I would say, a main kitchen living room area, buying the primer and the paint is going to put you at a few $100. So right off the back, you're already at that limit. So I went on the board meetings a good amount of times, and I was just telling them, with all the issues regarding the shortages of housing, homelessness, costs, and the workforce that especially with all the businesses leaving California for that reason, that limit is way too small. And compared elsewhere, you're talking Tennessee is $25,000. Let's see where else. North Carolina's $50,000, Louisiana's $75,000. I know Vermont's like 15,000 now or something. And pretty much all the limits are pretty high. And that's if they have the licensing. So I made that point to them. And I don't know if it was my actions maybe that helped it or not, because I did go on that board meeting. I'm telling you, like, every meeting for about a year, 2 years. Just constantly pressing the issue, bringing it up. And just recently, they raised that limit. So now it's $1,000 in labor and material. So that's definitely a lot better. Not much, I also made a post on our contractors, helping contractors page, which is kind of just like an outreach. And I was just saying, you know, the only thing better than this something would have been nothing, you know, because it wasn't much. A $500 increase is not, it's not doing anything, especially with the price, the inflation and everything. It's not doing anything. So I also made this video because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, well, $1,000 does help out some small guys. So I'm talking, if you're a construction repair, if you're a landscaping, a tree trimming, plumbing repair, just small scale like handyman business, that raise from 500 to 1,000 is gonna open the door a lot to some of the jobs and some of the return on profits to actually where you're making money now. If you don't want to get licensed, you could actually work, make some money, not feel like you're breaking the law 24/7. So like if you're a landscaper, there is no material, so you're not charging any material. So that $1,000 limit is full profit, whatever you decide to charge, as long as it doesn't surpass that $1,000 limit. And $1,000 in a 2 or 3 day landscaping, that's a pretty good gig right there. So also drywallers, you know, that $1,000 limit, now you're, instead of just that repair, you're actually doing maybe a whole room re-drywall, tape and texture, and making a few $400-500. Electricians, electrical repair, you know, because I know Romex is pretty expensive, so that limit's going to allow you to still take on a small electrical repairs and make some money, be able to charge a little bit more. It's still not much though, you know. I was waiting until next year because they're trying to pass another legislation act for contractors to where all contractors, regardless of employees, have to pay workman's comp. So at the moment, I'm not paying workers' comp because I don't have any employees. If this policy passes next year, I would have to pay a policy workers' comp on myself, even though I have no employees, or lose my license. So it's definitely a racket. No other state in the country does this. California would be the first, and it's just complete opposite of what needs to be done in the state, given the shortages of housing and what the issues I pressed to the board. So I told them the cost of our licensing, the entry restrictions, the testing, the years of experience, it's a lot more burdensome compared to anywhere else. If you're given Texas, Montana, Washington, Florida, you know, complete different ballgame. So this is also another step in the wrong direction to make housing prices, homelessness, and just the market for contractors just that much harder. So I was gonna bring it up at the next board meeting and just tell them it's good that we're making leeway, that we've because I also said testing centers, because they used to only have 7 testing centers throughout the state. That means some people in certain cities are driving 3-4 hours to take a test to get their license. So I was saying, you know, we need to expedite this, either make it online like other states or expand testing locations. So they did that. So now there's more testing locations, but we still need to keep the ball rolling and just make the system easier, make it more equitable, more competitive, and more on par with kind of the national standards. So I can't say if I'm for getting rid of the licensing system, but it's somewhere in the middle. You know, we could have it, but it could be voluntary. If you don't want it, you don't need it. But they could still promote sort of like a registration system to where if you don't want the license, you could still register yourself, get an insurance. So consumers still have some protection. So that's kind of the matters I've been pressing to them that I'm going to press again, because next year, if that passes, I talked, because me and my dad have been doing this. He's been doing flooring for a long time, and this kind of our business. I told him, you know, if they pass this bill, that's it. I'm not paying it. You know, I'm just gonna drop the license. It's pointless. And he was saying he was gonna cover it. I'm like, it's not the point. You know, we shouldn't be paying this much while no one else is, even though we're in the same industry. So hopefully I can make that strong argument. They could recognize the change and the benefits that could be derived from a different system, and everyone could benefit. So figured I'll just do a video talking about some of the changes in some of the issues in the California construction industry, and also talk about that $1,000 increase, which it doesn't seem like much, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, you could be a landscaper, you could be a plumbing repair contractor, you could be an electrical repair contractor, roofing, a handyman. I mean, there's a lot you could do with that $1,000 limit, and you could innovate. And if you have a good reputation and do good work, it'll speak for itself. And I was also thinking, well, if you don't have a license, there's also going to be incentive for consumers to kind of stay away from your service. I was like, no, that's not really the case, because people like good deals. And I called my insurance agency that I have for my contractor insurance, and I was just asking, so if I don't have a license, would you still insure me? So if I was like keep getting cut off, but what I was saying about the insurance is they do insure unlicensed contractors. So I was pretty excited about that, because if they do raise the limit even higher, or for contractors that are unlicensed, they could still have some sort of protection, some sort of certification for consumers to show that they're not just coming in there, you know, empty-handed. They have a security on them, and that's that contractor's bonding insurance, which could be $15,000 or as high as $1 million. So it's up to you what you do for a business. But I figured I would just give my 2 cents and make a video on the matter, just to showing our viewers and other contractors that the limit is pretty low in California, but there's stuff you could do with that. You could innovate on that with handyman services, and also just kind of bring awareness of the challenges, issues, and work that needs to be done on this system to bring it on par. Because I don't know if you've seen, maybe our viewers could watch some of the videos on occupational licensing and the need for reform, but it's one of the major issues in the country, if not the major issue affecting our economy and consumers, which is over-regulation. And occupational licensing costs the economy and California alone $100 billion annually, and 100,000 jobs. And I'm sure that's just a low ball. I'm sure it's a lot higher. So if we can make a change to the system and make it easier for contractors and just consumers and housing to be built, there's going to be a big